Okay, we're on the record. Okay.
Are we on the record right now?
Oh, we're on the record now, Council President. I'm going to begin the meeting.
Okay. I don't have a gavel, but I'll announce that the Township Council meeting is in order, and Colette is going to run the meeting from there, since he can see who's there and who reacts from the public. Just as an official statement, I preferred to cancel tonight's meeting. All over the state, they stopped all meetings where you have a collection of people in one location, but the administration needed to have items voted on, so I agreed to do it this way, so we can still vote.
That is correct. We will be voting tonight. I, with permission of the council president, will be running the meeting tonight. I will run through the agenda. If council members or administration has any questions, please just let me know. At this point, there are no members of the public currently present, so I was going to talk about social distancing, but it's not necessary here. Up at the dais, we are practicing social distancing, so we're okay. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and begin. Council agenda, Township Parsippany Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of March 17th. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 18, 2019, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December 23, 2019, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December 18, 2019.
Note, council meetings are videotaped and aired on Public Access Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Sundays and Wednesdays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Okay, I ask everybody to rise for the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Here.
Ms. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Peterson?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Also present at today's council meeting are Mayor Michael Soriano, Business Administrator Keith Kazmark, CFO Ann Cucci, and Township Attorney Jim Lott. Upcoming meetings for April 7th, 2020 at 7 p.m. is the agenda meeting. April 21st, 2020 at 7 p.m. is the regular meeting. At this point, there are no minutes. We're going to move on to presentations. Mayor?
Thank you, Clerk. And I apologize. I know we want to run through this meeting quick just for business, but there is a lot to go through in announcements for anyone in the public that is watching this on the next couple of days. Now, I'm happy to report that 3 of our local grocery stores will offer morning store hours exclusively for seniors and people with disabilities in Parsippany, in addition to regular business hours. So Stop and Shop in Morris Plains will open from 6 a.m. to 7:30. Superfood Town will open from 6:30 to 7:30 in the morning. Quick Stop Food Market will be open from 7:30 to 9 a.m. And again, this is for seniors and for people with disabilities. Also, we have park and restroom facilities in Parsippany are now closed. We have cleaned them all to sanitize them, and we have locked and closed those facilities considering the current public health crisis. The Parks and Forestry Department recommended to the administration that that was the best method to go. Township buses are halting operations on Thursday. Wednesday, tomorrow, the 18th, will be their last day of operation. We needed the time to alert the public of the change. Now, Now, there are modifications to the police operations in Parsippany Troy Hills. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but understand that the 911 system will remain fully operational, and we will patrol this town and keep this town safe. For any adjustments, if you want more details, please go to the Parsippany Troy Hills Police Department's Facebook page, and most notably the website for more information. Now, due to the nature of the state emergency, these protocols and services may change at a moment's notice. Now, we want to let people know that New Jersey state parks and forests remain open for passive recreation, and we want social distancing here in the state of New Jersey. That includes parks here in Parsippany. We do not want people playing pickup basketball games where they're close together, but people need to be able to walk and walk with their families, but we need people to respect the social distancing. Now, last thing I have is this. 9 years ago, in the aftermath of Hurricane Irene, I personally witnessed firsthand the kindness and generosity of the people of Parsippany, as well as the ability of this community to come together and help those in need. Today, we once again find ourselves in challenging times. We are now beginning to understand that measures need to be taken to protect our country, our community, and the people that we care for. While it goes against our social instincts, we need to understand that coming together to fight this virus also means pulling apart and distancing ourselves from one another. We will miss our unique community celebrations, sporting events, family occasions, and simple social gatherings. But the unfortunate truth is that these gatherings have the potential to make us and those we care for sick. We may not like it, but the time has come for us all to collectively make sacrifices. Anything we can do to slow the virus's spread, no matter how small, has the potential to save lives. And if we don't, the heaviest burden will be with our first responders, our nurses, medical staff, and doctors. They are the front line of defense we depend on to care for and cure our friends and family that are sick. By staying home and separating yourself from others, you can save a life. And take it from someone who's seen it firsthand, helping others and saving lives is what this community is all about. Mr. Clerk, that is the end of my report. Thank you very much. Mr. Council President, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Along those lines, we have meetings scheduled for April 7th and April 21st. What we're going to do about those, we'll have to decide in another week or so. But my suggestion to the administration is, if we have these same circumstances, either we need to cancel meetings or we need to have an agenda that's a skeleton type agenda that can we move through only with what needs to be voted on and push out whatever can be pushed out. Mayor, do you agree with that?
Yes, Mr. Council President, I do agree with that, but we must make sure that that we are moving forward with our township. There are things we're going to need to vote on.
Oh, I agree with that.
At least to move forward, and I appreciate your frankness on this. There are methods and other ways. We're looking at what other townships are doing as well. There are possible electronic means, but I'm not sure about those yet. I want these firmly vetted, and I look forward to working with you on this to make sure we do this in a smart, open, and really in a democratic way.
Also,
Okay,
Council President, just to note, and Mr. Lott may want to comment on this, there is word that there will be an executive order that may curtail the Open Public Meetings Act, or otherwise a sunshine law, which may prohibit the public from attending such meetings. In that event, and if we do have that and providing such notice, because it's going to curtail all these notice requirements, we may still be able to have these meetings and not allowing the public, so we could keep everybody safe, and we could continue with such conference calls like that in the event
That would be great.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, if we can ban the public from coming to the meetings, we can have the meetings there.
Yeah, I believe there'll be an executive order coming out soon pertaining to that, and once that comes out, we can have these meetings without opening them to the public. You guys can be on the conference call. We'll have our social distancing here, and hopefully we keep everybody safe that way. With that being said, does the Township Council...
We don't need a conference call if the public is banned. We can come in.
And we like to see you anytime, Mike, no problem.
Yeah, but we need to, Michael, Mr. Council President, we still need to be careful with social distancing amongst ourselves. All it takes is one of us
Oh, I
out of the
understand.
10 to be sick, to get the other 9 sick, and that would be really bad.
Okay, well, we can seat you guys at the back table then.
Mr. Council President, I would be more than happy to call you remotely, and you can come here. I'd be fine with that.
Does the Township Council have anything they'd like to comment on? Any member of the
Yes.
council?
Council President Khaled?
Yes,
Khaled?
I'm here.
Right. The organization SEWA, SEWA, the young people wanted to do a cleanup of Lake Hiawatha on North Bevwick Road. It was determined by me speaking to Mr. Patel and he talking to his organization that in the best interest of the children that we are going to be postponing doing the cleanup at this time, and it will be done at a later date.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Township Attorney?
I'd like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, and I would also ask that my closed session item be removed from the agenda, and we'll defer that for another meeting.
The request has been granted.
Eden Gobrad.
Business Administrator?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to thank the council president, the members of the governing body, and the township clerk for their cooperation in expediting having tonight's meeting. There are issues on tonight's agenda that we wanted to have acted upon, especially the continued operation of being able to pay the bills and pay staff through our payroll department. I want to thank all of the township staff here in Parsippany, Troy Hills, for their continued cooperation and support over the last 2 weeks. We have been meeting daily with our department heads and our division heads starting last week. We are following the guidance of the public health officials, both at the township level, the county level, and the state level. We are also following newly administered civil service guidelines when it comes to governing the needs and accommodation of all township employees. Beginning tomorrow, we will issue an executive order that will be signed by the mayor that will draw down some of the municipal staff beginning on Thursday. We will be requiring all essential employees to report to work on a regular basis. That includes the members of the Parsippany Troy Hills Police Department, the Department of Public Works, all divisions, the water utility, the sewer utility, and other departments as deemed necessary in the executive order that my office and the township attorney is in the process of putting together. One of our biggest challenges at this point is being able to secure personal protective supplies for a variety of our employees, including our first responders in the police department and with the Parsippany Troy Hills Ambulance Corps. We are working through county OEM to try to secure those supplies to ensure the public safety of our emergency responders. All essential employees tomorrow will be issued identification placards that they can display in their front windshield so that during the curfew hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m., they will be able to travel to and from work in order to meet our operational needs. We are following the closures that were state mandated by the governor's executive order yesterday. Schools have been closed. It affects certain businesses, including the ability of restaurants to serve. At this point, restaurants can only serve up until 8 p.m. via takeout or delivery. Tomorrow, the mayor will sign an order that will close daycare centers. This is one area that has been left out of the state mandated closures. We have had a number, I shouldn't even say we have a number. We have been inundated with concerned phone calls to the Mayor's Action Center, to the Municipal Clerk's Office, and to the administration office about why daycare centers remain to be opened. So much so that this was a question asked by the media during President Trump's news conference yesterday on the COVID-19 outbreak. That closure of all daycare centers will go into effect in Parsippany effective Friday, close of business. And the reason that the decision was made to extend daycare till Friday is because some of our first responders and some of our hospital and medical personnel were the ones who had challenges with regard to daycare. This will give them some additional time until Monday to be able to provide adequate child care for their children. We will be following the lead of the Morris County freeholders and the county to move to essential employee operations effective Thursday, the 19th. Division heads and department heads by executive order will begin tomorrow to ID essential staff. That process has already begun in my office, but will be further vetted by the department and division heads. Non-essential staff will be assigned work remotely and will be asked to perform certain functions on an as-needed basis. One of the concerns that we do have at this point, and I will ask for a phone call tomorrow with the mayor and the council president and the township clerk, is to discuss the finances of the municipality. Okay? There have been discussions about the legislature considering extending tax payments beyond the May 1st deadline. That is something that we are going to need to discuss, as we are currently operating on a temporary budget. We will continue to provide essential services to all residents of Parsippany Troy Hills, both residential and commercial. And while we are doing so, we will do everything we possibly can to protect the health and safety of our staff and the public at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Business Administrator. Township Clerk, I have no report at this time. Township offices and committees. Anything from the members of the council?
No, I have nothing.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. So moving right along, bids taken, none. To be taken, 32420 New England Drive Milling and Resurfacing Program. March 25th, 2020, SCADA System Improvements, Phase 2. March 26th, Replacement of Simpson Avenue Retailing Wall. Quotations, proposals, qualifications, none. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is now open to the public. Seeing no one here, I'd like to entertain a motion to
Motion
close.
to close.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay, before I get into the ordinances, I'd just like to make a quick announcement. If you notice on the agenda, there has been a little bit of a different format, and it's done this way to encourage expediency and efficiency. So what you'll see is with the introduction, the ordinances are listed with their title. However, the verbiage is at the end of the ordinances. This way, it will allow us to move right along. What I would ask, if there was a public hearing, the members of the public could list the ordinance they have a question on or would like to have dialogue on. And if the council has any questions, I will ask right before I read the actual verbiage with regards to the resolution approving the ordinances. Is that okay for everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll begin with ordinances introduction. Ordinance 2020:08, amending Chapter 51, accumulating and use of funds of the Code of Parsippany Troy Hills. Ordinance 2020:09. Now, with regards to this one, did the council have any questions on this?
2008? Yes, I do.
Okay.
There's increases in the different in section 1A, number 1, we're going from .008 to .013, and in number 2, .002 to .004, and number 3, .01 to .003. May I ask, why are we increasing these fees and their tax levy fees? municipal tax levies.
So just to clarify, the question that Councilmember Grignani had is, for ordinance 2020-08, the question pertains to the fees as to why they're being increased and what they're being used for.
Through you, Council President, to Council Member Grignani. Loretta, you may remember last year, we circulated a memo to council through COLED that was a recommendation of myself and Ann Cucci to reallocate which portions of the open space trust fund, which category we collected for. And we obviously have the historic piece, we have the preservation piece, and then we have the maintenance piece, essentially, which helps with our parks and our playgrounds. What we're looking to do is reallocate some of the collections towards maintenance so that we can take some onus off the operating budget, which obviously has an impact on taxes, property taxes. So this money is already being collected in totality. It will just reapportion which section it goes to in order to take some stress off of Mr. Walsh's operating budget.
Just another way to state that then is we're not assessing the homes for any more for open space than we did before. We're just reallocating the funds within that assessment.
That is 100% correct, Council President. We collect what we collect based on the ballot referendum of many years ago. You can probably tell me what year better than I can tell. But there will be nothing additional collected. It's just what is collected will be reapportioned in order to take some stress off the maintenance operating budget of the Parks and Forestry Division.
It was 1979, by the way.
I knew you'd know that.
Ordinance 2020:09, amending ordinance number 2019:30, entitled an ordinance establishing hourly wage ranges for blue-collar employees of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills. Ordinance 2020:10, bond ordinance providing for various road and sidewalk improvements. Ordinance 2020:11, amending and supplementing Chapter 290-4 and A45-37 of the code related to the No Country Club utility fees. Ordinance 2020.
Are we going to vote on these?
We are. What we're going to do is, the vote is going to come at the end, Council President. So after ordinance number 8, I'm going to ask the council if they have any questions or they want to open dialogue on any of these ordinances, and if not, we're going to go ahead and vote on all of them at once to encourage expediency and efficiency.
Okay.
Ordinance 2020:12, authoring the conveyance of Block 765, Lot 66, and 81.1 to Wildlife Preserves Incorporated. Ordinance 2020:13, petitioning the Highlands for plan conformance for the planning area. Ordinance 2020:14, amending and supplementing Chapter 225, land use, subdivisions, and site plans related to land constraint regulations. And Ordinance 2020:15, authorizing to sublease a portion of Lot 2 in Block 483, as well as an amendment to the lease agreement with the Board of Education for Lot 3 in Block 388. At this time, before I go ahead and ask and read the resolution, ask the council to vote, does the council have any questions or want to talk about any of these ordinances?
No, I looked them all up from the backup information we got 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right, so seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and read it. Be it resolved that the above ordinance is introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills held on March 17, 2020, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage of the meeting to be held on April 21st, 2020 at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinances with the notices of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolutions.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to the second reading and public hearing. We only have one ordinance for that, and it's amending ordinance number 2020:07, amending and supplementing Chapter 430, zoning of the Township Code. The notice for the ordinance above was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, on February 24, 2020. This ordinance was introduced at the February 18, 2020 regular meeting. Motion to accept that ordinance 2020:7 be heard in second and final reading, read by title only. Need a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Public hearing for ordinance 2020:07. Motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Carriffy, and that was seconded by Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. Seeing no one else, motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2020:07.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, who seconded the first time? Who was that?
Me, McCarthy.
McCarthy, okay. So, motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and heard, and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading and that the notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above.
Make a motion.
Second, Peterson.
Well, we got Grignani seconded before you, Ms. Peterson.
Okay.
No, I'm just... So, motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Okay, we have no resolutions for the non-consent agenda. At this point, we're moving on to the consent agenda. I'm going to go ahead and read. Be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, Grignani.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, and now we are moving on to the approval of the payroll and bills list. CFO Ancucci recommends authorization for payment. 1, authorized payment of the March 2020 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1.6 million. And 2, payment of bills from voucher list of April 1st, 2020 through April 3rd, 2020, which is $2,126,828.95. At this point, I need a motion to approve the authorization for payment.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, who was the first motion? I apologize.
It's me, McCarthy.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Ms. McCarthy. And second was Mr. Carriffy. So a motion by Ms. McCarthy, seconded by Mr. Carriffy. Roll call, Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
And as stated under reports, Township Attorney has elected to postpone the executive session, so there is no executive session for tonight due to the public health emergency. And at this time, I would like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion.
Second, Grignani.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Carriffy, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
We're adjourned, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us
Stay
tonight on the
healthy.
phone. That's great.
Jim, do you believe that the closure order has to be signed by the 15th? Just the